Hello, David. Can you guys hear me? Am I connected? I tried a different route to start the live stream, but I wasn't sure if it was on, so I disconnected and reconnected. Am I in the right place? Am I in the right place? Let me fix these all that I should have fixed before. See, this is what you get when at the last moment you change procedures. Because it said the what is it? Something said here, live control room. Go to live control room. It's a new system, so I went to live control room and I couldn't see the usual things that I would see. There was no, you guys were not showing, but when I disconnected and reconnected through this other page, you were all here. So obviously there was some wrong. So I'm glad that it's all working out. So let's see who we have here. Dave says, hello, Mehran. Hello, Dave. Jordan says, hi again. Hope you're well. I moved on from my ex, he says. Got a new girlfriend now. My ex wants me back. Lol, your video have helped me a lot. 28 male, Scotland. Good. Good to hear that, Jordan. And thanks for that. Dragos says, cheers, Mehran. How are you, sir? All good? Good to see you, dear. Let me just say hello to everybody. Breakdance World says, hello, Dr. Mehran. Thank you for the honorary doctoral degree. I'm not a doctor of any kind. Just want to make sure that for the record. Says, hello, Dr. Mehran. How are you doing? Delighted that you're here and you could join us. And Sophia says, hello, Mehran. Long time no see. True that. Let me see if I can get this. Part of my head is chopped off here. And let me just fix this as well. And this. And this. Oops. I guess that's not good. There we go. That should do it. No? Doesn't it? But we gotta go further out. So we're gonna do this. How about that? And there we go. That should do it. So, where were we? Good. And Chris says, hello, Mehran. I hope all is well. I'm really enjoying the new series you have done. You had a chance to take a look at the two segments that I released. There are a few more segments for the new series that I've uploaded called The Change is Coming. Number one segment was the colognes, and I think you might have enjoyed that. If you haven't, please watch it and make comment, for heaven's sake. You guys know one of the most important things that causes algorithm to recognize a channel is number of comments, likes and comments. And as you know, I always respond to the comments. So if you write me a comment, it will help the algorithm. And of course, I will respond even to say thank you. That would be something that would help the algorithm. So if you haven't watched it, watch the one that says clones from the Change is Coming series. And I published the second part as well, which was the nature and you. And get ready for the third one, which will be why meditate. And of course, then the fourth one would be thoughts and consciousness. And the fifth one would be desire and how to stop it, which I already have that video. I will just add it to the mix. Then we'll have fear, an elaborate discussion on fear. That is going to be the video I did at the local university a few years back, which the discussion fits pretty well to what we are trying to accomplish here. That's about 42 minutes. So you guys got to have lots of cup of teas when you want to watch that. And then, of course, we have segments about ego and so on. We will add it. So I don't want to redundantly redo something that is already good quality and it's already done. But I hope you enjoyed the new series, especially the first 4, which is brand new. And I trust you will take a moment and watch it. More than a moment. These are long videos. No wonder I don't see that many takers on them. I mean, today's attention span, if it's more than 2 minutes, nobody's watching it. But hey, you take your car to a garage that fixes everything in 2 minutes, it's a kind of car you're going to have. It's going to break down quite often. But if it's going to be a real overhaul, detailed work, then you'll have a car for a longer time and running smoothly. And this is what we do on this channel. We've got over 1,500 and close to 2,000 videos on the topics of relationship, breakups, why you feel this way, why your mind thinks this way, transient thoughts, negative thoughts, things to do with the psyche, things to do with the movement of the mind. All of that is covered here, all for you guys, only if you have the patience to watch it. Otherwise, there is no magic word. If you want to feel good, then I'm sure there are other channels that you can simply listen to what they have to say. And, you know, like, go get your ex back and keep sitting in the shit that you're sitting in, but hope that you will be getting out without moving out, without wanting to move out, without taking a step, but just hope that you'll get your ex back and that will solve all your problems. Really? So the ex was the actual salvation, and so you lost your whole chance of life because the ex left you? That's where the solution is in life? So let's get the ex back to fix everything? Well, I don't think so. So if you guys are patient and want to really make something out of yourself by knowing how you're put together, then this channel is for you. Otherwise, it's not. This is not a, you know, quick fix type of channel. It's not a bullshit channel. So if you guys are really want to learn about yourselves, well, I've got things to share with you. And the things that I have to share with you, lots of years of pondering and expertise in that train of thoughts have brought me to it, which I am more than happy to share with you, because I genuinely care about the people and the sufferings that we all go through our childhood, youth, teenage life, adult life, with the things that we're having to deal with, and all of that, it starts and ends here. And if we don't understand this, we think everything else is coming from out there. And then we seek to fix it by some entity from out there. The solution seems to be out there, which means we're never in control. How could you be in control of something out there that is not you, and it has its own thoughts and way of doing things? Then you'll never solve the problem. But if you understand everything that is going wrong with us, or it's going with us, it's from here, and even the out there is in here, then we understand this is the window that everything takes place in there, and this is where the place the engine is. That's where you need to tune up, and that's why you want to know everything about it so you can fix it any moment. Having said that, don't forget to share the videos. All right. David says 24 male, Dallas, Texas. Thank you for that, David. Adrian says, Rocky, Adrian, Just kidding, Adrian. Thanks for joining us. Hello, dear. You know, I like to uh, kid around sometime with you guys because you guys are very close now. So I hope that you guys don't mind. Breakdance World says, I have a funny life story. Do you guys want to have listening to it? Breakdown dance, bloody well, make your own channel and give your stories. Not gonna advertise for you, but let's see if we have extra time, and we will. uh, yeah, that's right, Adrian. Everybody has some kind of a challenge, and every country has some kind of a challenge. Adrian says everybody thinks that has a problem, but here in 1989, when the revolution started in Timisoara, Romania, people died, got shot on the street for freedom and a better life. Xmas in December in my city is a sad reminder. Yes, it is unfortunate, all the atrocities and negative happenings all around the world, different places, different times, sometimes in Romania, sometimes in other places in the world, sometimes around Christmas or any other time of the year. These sort of things, unfortunately, is happening on this great planet of Earth of ours. And we humans have lost our values, and the people in power, entities in power, seem to think that they are different than us, and it is one group versus the other, where we are all human beings, we're all in it together, we're all supposed to be safe and secure and survive and happy, live a longest possibility of life that we can, help each other. And unfortunately, life and world has lost its direction, and humans on this earth, mostly, especially the ones in power in different countries, they don't even know why they're here. They think they can take all this power and killing and manipulations and the dictatorial and the money and everything else that they're trying to grab on, they can take it with them. At one time, our lives all comes to an end, and hopefully all throughout your life you've been a positive influence to the society and to the world that we all live and share. Otherwise, this is what we're going to get. The bullshit that we are living in is because of the bullshit that we have made out of ourselves, thinking that material and power and destroying others and bullying and killing others is going to make us any better at all, or the world better at all. It's all temporary, it's all bullshit. The only thing that is important in this life is helping each other, bringing safety and security, and sharing the resources of Earth, bringing good energy and love to all living beings. That's the only way. The rest of it is just total bullshit. So now let's talk about other things here instead of going to a different tangent. Adrian. And Sophia says, oh no, my internet went off just when you got to my message. Just in case you forgot, it's Sophia 23 from Chile. Yes, I know. And Jeremy says, where's Jeremy? Sounds like a great series, Mehran. Oh, glad that you like it too as well. I hope that you have watched the two that is published. And Sophia says, have you seen the news about what's happening in Chile right now? Yes. There are many places in the world that are having challenges. Chile, Peru, Iran, many places in the world that are going through certain changes and challenges. Adrian says people got shot, we're not afraid. So what are you afraid for people? I don't understand what the question is, Adrian. When you become a fearless, your life becomes limitless. What do you think? Yeah, you become fearless, but you still got to observe limits that would give you a chance to be fearful again. Because if you're not really thinking much, and the anger and shock has frozen your thinking, then whatever action you're taking, it could be having a negative effect on yourself and other people maybe who are hoping for a better result, but because it wasn't thought through, it wouldn't get anywhere. So it is best not to act or react when you're angry or simply just want to make a statement, and instead methodically learn how through better democratic channels one can change things. Because if you're not in possession of the kind of facilities that is available to the people who are the oppressors, then you'll be defeated by the power of organizations that the oppressor has. So it has to be methodically, democratically, people together, non-violent, so everybody would be safe, but the right would prevail rather than might. If you are resisting against dictatorial and undemocratic system, then forcing it to go away by use of might is another undemocratic way of getting rid of an undemocratic way. So people should simply, through non-violent ways, to unite and vote or do things that needs to be done without harming anyone else or themselves or properties, so they can change the system, not change the existence of others. When people are gone, how can they be changed? Yeah, if there are people at large who are aiming to harm others and they're just, evil, and their only goal is to harm and control and destroy other people, well, that's a different story. Then proper international authorities will have a system to help out with such outrage, such unacceptable situations. But in general, people have to try to get their votes counted, their actions through non-violence. You see, because we as human beings are violent. So when we say non-violent, is because we recognize that we are violent and we're trying to stop that. But if we try to deal with that violence and eradicate that, then we come to a different stage. And I understand the challenges that are going on in the world right now. I'm not being just romantic, but this is the eventuality of this whole train of thought should come to where we're talking about, that every improvement should be realized through non-violence. To end the violent, everything should become non-violence. We're human beings with intelligence, discussions, reasons, rules, and observations. Otherwise, one act of violence changes something that was not desirable by a group, then another group comes and brings another act of violence to change an undesirable to them, which is going to be undesirable to somebody else. But if it is all through non-violent behavior and action and strategies and activities, then there would be no choice but the majority to agree to that, which that would stop any unreasonable objections to it further later on, and there will be more stability. So even change should come through non-violence behavior, because the ones who are in power are trying to stay in power, and they're scared of the humanity's default setting, which is violence. So they see violence coming, they want to defend themselves to stay in power and continue their aggression and continue their dictatorial behavior. So it's all violence would be replacing violence. Nothing will change, and the cycle will continue. So I hope everywhere in the world that there are problems, people would be able to resolve them through unity and non-violent behavior. I guess wishful thinking, but that's what I have to say about that. Abraham says, I've had bad days, but with your advice, I'm getting better and better. Delighted to hear that, Abraham. Supernez says, hello, Mehran. Hello. Adam here. Hello, Adam. 38 UK, shoe size 8. Okay. Striker 51 Fold says, hello, 23 Germany Mail. Guten Tag, wie geht's heute dir? Says, why does it hurt to see an ex unexpected even though you don't want them back? Yes. Brings you anxiety. Because you're not thinking about anything other than who won, who lost. And you feel embarrassed that I didn't prevail. Because to most of us is always about how am I being viewed by my own superconsciousness from outside that is looking at me. In other words, you have a certain image of yourself according to the conditioning you have received in your consciousness, and you modify this as you grow, and at a certain time you have a certain image of yourself, about yourself in your own mind. Through experiences and exercises and such as relationship and so on, this image is being attacked or modified or changed or challenged. And when whatever the outcome is and the experience finished, the relationship ends, when you see each other accidentally, all you remember the emotion that it was apparent in you when that change, that relationship was going through what it was going through. And that somehow has affected you to think of yourself if you have lost or won, which you've been conditioned throughout your life that if you gain something, you're more. If you abandon something or something's taken away, you're less. That feeling of whether I'm more or less stays with you through the experience of relationships. So when you see each other, that's what you remember. Oh, she broke up with me, which is the sign of me having become less, because I'm conditioned to think if I gain something, I'm more. If I'm not, I'm less. And in this case, she left, therefore something moved away, therefore I'm less. And that feeling of less is unacceptable and not liked. Therefore, that's what you feel like that. An embarrassment. From you to you. Nobody else knows, nobody else cares, and it doesn't matter at all in any echelon in life. But it does because you're conditioned to think that it matters or should matter. What matters? The way you look at yourself. The image you have created of yourself, about yourself in your own mind. And who's looking at that image? Who's judging you? Your thoughts from out there is judging what you're thinking about yourself. Your thoughts from out there is judging the image you have created of yourself, about yourself in that moment. And what are those thoughts? Your thoughts are actually judging your thoughts. So it's all about you. So change that. Don't say I don't give a shit. And simply move on. Because you don't want her. And is non-significant to you anymore. Inconsequential anymore. But you don't, because of what we just talked about. You think that experience defines you. And when you see her, it reminds you of that experience, that feeling of I'm less, because of that something moved away, and you get a little bit of a negative shock. Just move on beyond that, you'll be fine. Realize the truth. The truth is nothing was added to you when she was with you. Nothing is taken away from you when she's not with you. You're still whole, just as wonderful a person as you've always been. Now with more experience and know-how. So even better now that you guys, through that breakup, you've become a bigger and better person. I hope that makes sense to you. And Adam says, Mehran, when there is no sign of meeting. Oh, Strike says, I don't hear a lot about what's going on in Kashmir in the news. Yeah, it's true. For a while they were talking about it, but I don't hear much about it either. Adam says, Mehran, when there is no sign of meeting a quality woman in my hometown, would it be advisable to move to an area where there would be more options and possibility of meeting the right woman for me? Yeah, why not? I have done everything in my power, but I feel like a seed planted in the wrong pot. I cannot grow. Okay. Sophia says, Mehran, when you were talking about losing and winning in breakups and becoming less, how can someone manage losing? I feel the same way sometimes. How can you better the idea of yourself? You don't need to. You got to stop having an idea of yourself. Just live. That is the problem. Because the image that we all have created of ourselves in our own mind, it's rooted in some kind of a conditioning that has actually created a blueprint of how that image should be. It is not the image that you have preferred or you're comfortable with necessarily. It is the image based on the expectations and the values that the society that you are yourself part of the founders of it, in some degree, have created for you. So this idea of loser, I was trying to tell you that there is no such thing. But we're conditioned to think that way. But that doesn't mean that we should continue thinking that a breakup would mean something and a makeup would mean something. Having a girlfriend would mean something. Being involved in a breakup would mean something different as far as your worth and value and affirmation and being more or less is concerned. When you abide by that and buy into that bullshit that has been conditioned into your consciousness since childhood and teenage life, through the society and the values that has been forced upon people, members of the society, then you feel that something drastic has happened. But nothing actually has happened. If you were raised in a community or in a culture that would not have paid so much attention to any extraordinary value or meaning of such experiences, you would not feel that way. But you're conditioned to think that this should be an important or a modifying event, modifying to your character, to your worth and value, and so on. And having believed that, therefore your system and your emotions react to it. It's no different than in some parts of the world, they eat some things that it could make you throw up and find it very inhumane, but to them in that neck of the woods is as normal as it is for you to have vegetables or chicken, I don't know, or beef. Because you've been conditioned to that. The values and conditioning has made that to be a non-thinkable, it's okay thing, not a subject to discussion. You're conditioned to that. And they are conditioned to that. In some places, they enjoy and they eat and they kill dogs or monkeys or other animals, scorpions or snakes and this and that. In other places, they could do the same with frogs, and other places chicken, and other places beef and pork and pigs and so on and so forth. But somehow in one area that's acceptable, the others are not, and the other areas what they're doing is acceptable and normal and not a thingy to think about, but not what the other people around the world are doing. And this is just based on what you've become common and what you've become used to by having seen it over and over, and it's been done, and it's not an issue anymore. You know, it's the conditioning in our consciousness has a lot to do with the way that we think and we feel and we act and react, and our emotions are being stimulated. And this conditioning can always and does always dynamically change through our life when our views are changed based on the practice that we are witnessing or not witnessing. I remember when I was a kid, I was sent by my mother to, sometimes I was a child, like maybe, I don't know, 10-year-old or 11-year-old. I was sent to maybe another block away from home, and there was a place that they would you would buy chicken, live chicken. They would kill it for you right there. They would take the thingies off, the wings and feathers and all that, whatever it is, the feathers, and clean it up and give it to you. Only chicken. In the old times, there were no big supermarkets. Later on, they became supermarkets, but every little place had their own specialty. One place for bread, one place for chicken, one place for fruits, one place for different kind of fruits, one place for cheese and stuff. Little stores of different kinds. So, I remember the bread place was like one kind of bread they would make. That was for that, and there was another place for a different kind of bread, a bakery for that. Now, as a kid who had seen that being done, it eventually wasn't an issue, to the point that it seemed to be accepted thing. I remember the store was owned by a Jewish man, and we would trust the Jewish man because somehow their tradition was similar to the Muslims' tradition, which was the majority of the people in the country. But we were all living in harmony. Assyrians, Jewish, Baha'i, Muslims, Christians, no problem. But whichever was closer to them, they would, maybe interact in that forum. So for me, I was sent to this Jewish store owned by a Jewish man because we trusted his work or him for what quality it was being exchanged there. And the other things for bread, it was a Christian bakery, and the other one was a Muslim vegetable place or a meat shop. There was not an issue. But this particular one, I remember, he had a machine, and he would, water the chicken, and then he would prepare the chicken, and I would take it and come home. That was what was accepted in my consciousness, because I had seen it done. There were other rituals I had seen it which I didn't like, but I had seen it in the country as a culture. But today, you can't pay me to go to a store and watch a chicken being prepared in that way. A live chicken being cleaned up and all that and killed, and then I take it home. You can't pay me to. Why? Because my consciousness is now changed. 50 years has passed. 53 years, 54 years have passed from the time that was an okay thing for me to see and deal with it. And through this time, my synaptic neurons does not accept that as something comfortable for me anymore. My consciousness is conditioned to consider that with the level of my understanding of how I would feel about something, not just through what I have seen over and over, but what I think about it through my life. I have gained the idea of, even though I still eat chicken, but I certainly don't want to see it anymore. Like, I think about these sort of things. So the conditionings in the consciousness do change as you go through this journey of life. So therefore, the image that you have of yourself in a certain way constantly can change too. So if you're conditioned to think that a breakup means certain thing to you and you should feel devastated as if you have lost something, well, you can change that conditioning as everything else can change in the conditioning. Just like the example I brought for you right now about my own childhood and how I feel about it now at this age, and many other things have changed in my life. Why they have changed? Because my understanding, my expectations, my policy, my view of how I see life and how I hope it would be, or my values or my conditioning, therefore, because of all these things, have changed. Therefore, my conditioning has changed. My expectations and images of how I see myself, how I see the world, have changed. So these are all changeable things. A conditioning that you have received in your consciousness is not forever, is not constant, it's not absolute. And through those changes of thoughts and practicing of those thoughts, the conditionings will change in the consciousness. Therefore, you will change, because you are consciousness. All right. Hope that makes sense. Adam says, I was hoping for a more deeper explanation why you think I should move away to broaden my options to be found. It wasn't my idea. It's not what I think that you should do. You said, I can't find the right partner here, a small town I am. Should I be moving? I said, why not? So this is not my suggestion. Because who knows? Maybe that very small town is where you will find the love of your life. But what I'm trying to tell you is that don't turn this whole experience of finding someone to be a mystical thing that you have nothing to do with it. No. You know what kind of person you are, what kind of person you like, and the more chances that you have to meet people, the more possibility that you might find someone that you would expect or would meet your basic standards, or some of the standards that you could see if you can build something on the basis of those commonalities and compatibilities. And if you think that town is so small that you know everybody, therefore what else can you do? You will move on to, place where there are more people, and therefore more possibility of finding others that could have more things in common with you, that could possibly be suitable for both of you. David says, I would be interested in listening to more of your life stories growing up in Iran, what it was like when you first moved to Canada, US, the cultural differences and whatnot. Sure, you can pay me for that. Those are personal gain information. We can talk about that some other time for sure. But you got some of it today. Chris says, so my ex got engaged this week to her new fella. I had a wobble at first, but I'm okay now after your response. Yes, of course. you dodged the bullet. That's how you should look at it. Don't look at that pleasure left me. No, she left you. And she happened to have some kind of a physical pleasure for you. Otherwise, the rest of it, if you look at it, was all pain. What? She's joining you for the way she was and the agenda that she had, and you are the one who knows all about it. And 3 kids, suddenly you become a father of 3 kids, and all for that. What? Because you're goddamn lazy. You don't want to try and find someone really suitable for you, so you just put up. It's like a hungry person who just goes to a first restaurant and they say, okay, we have this as a soup de jour, or this is the choice we have on the menu. So okay, fine, give it to me, I'm hungry. And you're willing to do anything just to get that food, but it's not necessarily the food that you wanted, you hoped for, or you actually would enjoy thoroughly, because it's not about what you want, it's about what's available and to satisfy your need. And that's how it was. You came out of a long relationship and suddenly there was something that you needed in order to hang on to, so you won't feel you're falling, and it happened to be her. And she, having been partly something that you could hang on to not to fall, was bringing lots of weight with her herself. Her expectations, her plans, her self-centeredness, and of course, 3 children with it. And you were willing to pay for that, like you would be willing to pay for that food that you went into that restaurant hungry, and you were willing to pay for food, whatever they would ask for. Not a reasonable price for what you really asked for. Neither you asked for it, nor the price would have been reasonable, but you would still pay it because you needed it. So it wasn't choice, it was need, because you weren't able to deal with what should or should not be considered a need for you to pursue. The same thing with her. And therefore now, since you didn't have the guts to get rid of that whole situation, universe did get rid of it for you, gave her a chance to enjoy herself and be happy, and gave you the freedom that you didn't have the guts to pursue and create for yourself, but you were introduced to and beaten on the head to accept and go and enjoy your life. And that's how the cookie crumbled. And Keith Antoine says, hello, male 35 from Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, Trinidad and Tobago. That's where the origin of Black Power was years back. Welcome. Glad to see you here. So, looks like that we have finished all the questions and there are no more. So maybe I can have a sip of tea and then we will get ready to say goodnight. And David Medawar says, thank you for all you do, Mehran, from another Persian. Okay. All right. Where you are located, David? What part of the world? Are you in Europe, in North America? Arizona, this sunny country. Arizona. Good. Well, you guys, just so that we will fill up the quiet moments of our of our program here. You all know that this channel, on this channel, we have about 2,000 videos discussing thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, mechanical process, order, material process, everything to do with the movement of mind, who we are, how we're put together, what is our center, and how to deal with the way we act and react in our daily lives. We talk about transient thoughts, why they're there, how do they come about, what to do with them, how to manage them, what do they mean, and also if they define us or not. And we also talk about breakups, why you feel the way you do, all because we try to understand how we are put together and what our consciousness is all about, and the relationship between all the fragments of our psyche, thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, all of that. What are the relationship between them all? And of course, if you guys needed to take a look at the books I've written, you can go to my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com. I think the link is right here in the description. And of course, you can pick up the books in print, which are expensive, includes writing a little quote and signature, and shipping is included as well. Or you can choose the ebook version of it, which is the same book, same number of pages and everything, only electronically transferred to you, and it's 1/10 of the price. And of course, if you needed to talk to me, as if you think that the 2,000 videos do not cover how you feel about a certain matter in your life, all you have to do, go to my search engine of my channel and just type in a word that describes how you feel, and there's bound to be a video or 2 or 10 about that subject. But if you still weren't satisfied or couldn't answer your questions, or it wasn't there, the topic that you were hoping for, seeking discussion on, well, you can always go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, click on Talk to Mehran via Skype, make an appointment, and of course, as you know, for the time being, for every half an hour, I'll give you 1 hour. For a 1 hour appointment, I'll give you 2 hour appointment on me. and therefore we'll have plenty of time to discuss what's concerning you. So I'm just one Skype away, and no worries. Having said that, let's go back to our questions. And Chris says, yes, I know this is why I'm working on myself now, not looking for a relationship. I wish him luck. Yeah, he sure needs it. He doesn't know what he's getting into, but who cares? For each to his own. So looks like that we have no more questions here, guys. So I guess it's time for me. That's my clue to say good night to you all. I know that you guys are in Europe mostly, and you are what, about 8 hours ahead, so it must be about 9 o'clock there somewhere in Europe. And thank you very much for being with me today and giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I love you all, and I look forward to talk to you again. In the meantime, be good to yourself, to the others, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.